Welcome to Zone of Tech. I'm Daniel, and earlier this month, we've done a video on everything we knew so far about the PlayStation 5 controller. There's been quite a few leaks on the alleged controller itself, so yeah, this is what that entire video was focused on. And then 2 weeks before that, we did a massive video covering an exclusive picture that we received of the PlayStation 5's developer's kit. This was a never-before-seen image, and it showed us basically the PS5 that we've all seen in the official Sony patent before, but now in real life. And we actually got picked up by a lot of well-known tech websites, so honestly, thank you. Thank you to each and every single one of you for watching our videos and enjoying our content. It's honestly been an honor for our work to be featured on such a high level, so yeah, thank you. However, in this video I have a ton of major PS5 updates to cover, from some insane spec updates to some more controller updates and a direct comparison to the Xbox 2. So yeah, get us next ready, and here are all the latest leaks and rumors on the PlayStation 5, price included. The PS5 will have some truly next-generation graphics. 4K at 120 frames per second and even 8K at 30 frames per second. Now, these have both been officially confirmed by Sony, so they're not even leaks anymore. So that's pretty amazing, but what's even more amazing is that there are mobile games, even mobile games today, that manage to reach console quality graphics. And a good example of that would be Raid Shadow Legends, our sponsor for this video. Now, you've probably heard of Raid Shadow Legends before, but in case you haven't, Raid is one of the top 3 ranked RPG games on the Google Play Store and has just been nominated as a finalist for the Google Play Best of 2019 User's Choice Award. Raid has had over 15 million downloads in just the last 6 months, and also over 500,000 4.5-star reviews, so this has been an extremely well-received game. Essentially, Raid is a turn-based RPG game with over 400 champions that you can collect and customize in any way that you want, and then you can take your champions into battle. It has everything you would expect from an RPG game, from PvE to PvP battles to even a full-on campaign mode. It's extremely addictive, and the graphics in Raid look absolutely outstanding. We get basically console quality graphics here, running at native resolution, so close to 3K here, at 60 frames per second, which is just nuts. And the best part about Raid is that it's free to play. It also features some great additions such as multi-battle auto mode, where you can set battles to run automatically while you do something else, so you can spend less time grinding and more time having fun. Raid also features weekly tournaments and events, such as fighting in the arena, dungeons, leveling up your hero, and constant updates that you can see in this roadmap here that will be adding a new faction, a tag team arena feature, and even a new clan boss. Use the link in the description to sign up, and if you're a new player, you'll also get 100,000 silver, 50 gems plus 1 energy refill, and a free champion, the Executioner, which is actually a rare champion that would help you a lot in the game, and you also get that for free. After clicking the description link, simply go onto the main menu and tap on this chest money button right here to access your rewards. These are only available for new players and for the next 30 days, so be sure to claim them quick. Okay, so one of the main upgrades to the PS5, and this is something that some of you might be familiar with, as I've covered this in a previous video, would be the hard drive. So rather than the PS5 using a traditional hard drive like we've pretty much had in all the modern consoles, both the PS5 and the Xbox 2 will be using SSDs, or solid-state drives. This is very similar to what you would find in modern laptops, and SSDs are up to 10 times faster than hard drives, offering speeds of around 500 megabytes per second from the standard 50 megabytes per second that a hard drive offers. However, the PS5 will be using something even more powerful than a SATA-based SSD. Sony did say that they've actually developed a custom storage option that would offer speeds of up to 19 times faster than what the hard drive inside the PS4 could achieve. So 19 times 50, that's 950 megabytes per second, which is pretty much in the territory of NVMe and PCIe-based flash storage. So these are actually flash modules that are soldered onto the motherboard that offer much higher transfer speeds than what a SATA-based SSD would be able to offer, which is already limited to around 500 to 550 megabytes per second. Now, if you do buy a high-end laptop today that's aimed at creatives, such as a Dell XPS or a MacBook Pro, those laptops have an insanely high read speeds of well over 2 gigabytes per second. So, while the PS5 won't have speeds as high as high-end laptop storage has, it will still be much faster than the hard drive inside the PS4 was. Also, Sony did actually showcase a demo of Spider-Man, you know, the latest Spider-Man on the PS4, running on the PS5. And the entire game loaded in just 0.8 seconds. Yes, the game loaded in less than a second. The PS4 Pro was still extremely fast, and it only took just over 8 seconds to load the game. However, the PS5 took 10 times less than this, and also keep in mind that this game was not optimized or even developed with the PS5 in mind in the first place. Okay, so in this case, this is a standard mid-range laptop NVMe flash module that you can find in any laptop, right? Well, not really. You see, Mark Cerny, the lead system architect for both the PS4 and the PS5, did say that the raw bandwidth of the PS5 SSD is higher than of any other SSDs on the market right now. Okay, but what other benefits would an SSD bring to the PS5 other than just loading the games really fast? Well, you see in the Spider-Man demo, for example, Sony also showed us the maximum speed that Spidey can swing its webs at. And there you go, this is the fastest that you can go in the Spider-Man game on the PS4 Pro. It's pretty fast, but once you reach a certain speed, you can see how easy the game freezes. Now, Mark Cerny did say that that's because the system cannot stream the data fast enough from the hard drive, reason why we get the freezes and also the reason why Spidey cannot swing any faster than this. Okay, now take a look at the PS5. So we're starting off at the same speeds as before, but notice how much everything is so much smoother now. And now when we increase the actual speed, everything is perfectly fluid, and wow, take a look at how fast Spidey can now swing on the PS5. This is insane, guys. Like, imagine how amazing racing games will be and feel like on the PS5 thanks to this new storage. This is huge. So you see, it's not just, that games will load faster, it's also the experience inside of a game that will be dramatically improved. And we've actually had some pretty big leaks in terms of the PS5's SSD recently. So, according to Techtastic, Samsung has had a presentation in Tokyo where they showcased their upcoming SSDs for game consoles in 2020. SSD Era and Game Console 2020. That's how this was called. And what they showed us was how improved the system boot and the game load times were. So, for example, with the standard hard drive, it would take a game console around 49 seconds to boot. Then with a standard SSD, it would only take the console 29 seconds, while with their upcoming optimized NVMe modules, this is how they're calling them for now, the system boot seems to be less than half, so around 10 seconds, judging by this bar graph. And when it comes to the game launch speeds, Monster Hunter was the one that was tested here, and with a hard drive it took 38 seconds to load the game versus 13 seconds with an SSD, versus less than 6 seconds with their new optimized NVMe storage. And Mark Cerny did actually say in his interview with The Wired that the PS5 will indeed come with optimized flash modules, rather than the standard modules that laptops use. So it does make a lot of sense for Sony to use Samsung's brand new optimized NVMe modules in the PS5, which means that this will be a proprietary module, something specifically designed for the PS5, rather than something that you would be able to find in stores. However, there is a pretty big issue here. You see, if all the games are optimized to work with Sony's new flash module, which by the way won't be cheap to manufacture at all, if you take a look at NVMe modules today, a 1TB Samsung-made M.2 drive costs around 150 to 300 pounds in the UK, which is more than half of what the PS5 will cost. Speaking of this, Twitter leakster PSE Rebus, who's had some pretty good track record in the past when it comes to the accuracy of his leaks, he posted that the PS5 will be launching on November the 20th, 2020, which is a pretty good day, by the way, at a price of $500, which is actually the exact same price that the Xbox One X currently costs. But considering how powerful the PS5 will be, even when compared to the Xbox One X, I would say that $500 is just an amazing and outstanding price. It's less than a mid-range smartphone, and this is a console that will last you for 5 to 7 years, compared to a smartphone that most people change every 2 years or so. Okay, so going back to the SSD, I was saying that the big issue here is that SSDs, especially that module inside the PS5, that thing would not be cheap to manufacture. And the PS5 is expected to likely ship with a 1TB NVMe flash storage. But you see, games today, they have become massive, and most people will need an external drive, which yes, they are supported on the PS4, and they will most likely still be supported on the PS5. So the question here is, if you need more storage and you just plug in an external hard drive, wouldn't this impact the games heavily, since the storage would be significantly slower than the internal storage? And also keep in mind that all the games that were made for the PS5, or will be made for the PS5, will be made to take full advantage of the extremely fast internal storage. Well, one solution to this, in my opinion, is that Sony could indeed limit the use of external SSDs only and drop hard drive support entirely, because those are really slow. But the thing is, even those SATA-based external SSDs can only reach about 500 or so megabytes per second. So yeah, you would need something like an external M.2 module in order to even reach speeds close to the internal module. And yeah, those are not cheap by any means. However, I do have some very good news here. There have been some reports that Sony is planning on developing the flash module as a modular system so that you can easily swap it out for an even higher capacity module when you need it to. This means that Sony will very likely sell these modules alongside the PS5 as an accessory, and yes, they will be more expensive than what an entry-level M.2 module will cost if you were to just buy it outright. But they will be perfectly compatible with the PS5, and games will still make full use of those modules as well. So if at some point in time you want to upgrade the storage to maybe, let's say, 4 terabytes, you should be able to easily do that by just buying one of these modules and slot it in the PS5. And it's very safe to assume that a PS5 will also let you connect these modules externally through, let's say, USB Type-C and USB 3.1 Gen 2, for example, so that you can also expand the internal storage with some more external storage. And then a brand new Sony patent uncovered by Let's Go Digital shows what looks to be a cartridge. Yes, maybe the module, a first-party module, an SSD module that you can use to expand your PS5 storage. Well, that's what this thing looks to be, and Let's Go Digital even made some renders of this, but unfortunately, it turns out that it's actually not. So it's just a cartridge for a completely different Sony product, a kid's tablet/toy that you can use to control some cars. Yeah, that's pretty cool, but yeah, unfortunately, this is completely unrelated to the PS5. However, like I said before, it is still very likely that Sony will indeed offer SSD modules themselves that will extend your internal/external storage on the PS5. Now, in case you're worried about the storage or the price of these expansion modules, well, I do have some good news here as well. Mark Cerny did say in his interview with The Wired that a PS5 will support a new way of installing and playing games. So you will now be able to select if you want to install just the campaign of a game or just a multiplayer, and you can even delete parts of a game that you've already played and no longer wish to play. In Call of Duty Modern Warfare, for example, you'll be able to uninstall the campaign right after you've finished it and only then install the multiplayer when you want to play it. So this will save you around 50 gigabytes or so. Also, Mark Cerny did say that because of how slow the hard drive was on the PS4s, some developers even had to make copies of the game textures multiple times on the hard drive itself, so that it could load those textures faster than, just loading a single texture from the hard drive, which would be slower. So they would actually make multiple copies and load parts of them at the same time, since this was faster, but this resulted in a lot of space being wasted. So not only will the PS5 games occupy way less storage, but parts of the games will now be able to be uninstalled as we wish, which means even more free space. Now, something else that we've had recently in terms of PS5 leaks are some updates on the PS5 controller itself. This is something that I covered extensively in our last video. So in this one, I talked about some leaked PS5 development kit controller photos that showed the PS5 controller with a built-in display that replaced the touchpad. We also got the options and the share buttons inverted, so they were now horizontal rather than vertical. We had dual microphones/dual speakers on each side of the screen, and also a very weird shape of the controller itself that actually had the bottom portion of it indented, and yeah, from the looks it felt very uncomfortable, but it actually might be the opposite when holding this in person. And just last week we had a new patent filing by Sony on what appears to be a new controller that looks very, very similar to the PS4 one. We have a shape that now matches the Xbox and Nintendo Switch Pro controllers a bit more, which were known to be the most comfortable gaming controllers on the market, so that's pretty awesome to see. The touchpad is quite a bit larger now than the one we had on the PS4 controller, and also notice how it doesn't curve towards the back anymore, but instead it's now completely flat, which is interesting because you know what else is flat? Touchscreens. I mean, yes, there are curved touchscreens and displays, but those are very expensive to manufacture, so I believe that because of how this pattern looks and because of the previous leaked PS5 controller development kit photos that I showed you guys, the PS5 controller will indeed replace the touchpad with a full touchscreen display. And we would be able to use this in games and most importantly see the chat and the friends menu, which is pretty awesome because otherwise you would have to type in a message on the PS4's controller with the joystick or the buttons, which will take you like a year to type a single sentence, or you will have to use your smartphone, which isn't great either because you have to connect it to the PS4 and it takes some time to do that. So yeah, having a display built into the controller itself, that's so much better. Now, aside from this, we still seem to have two ports that both look to be 3.5mm headphone jacks, to be honest. Yeah, that's a bit odd. Dual support for 3.5mm headphone jacks? I don't know, probably not. But we are getting a USB Type-C port for charging, by the way. So Mark Cerny has confirmed this. We cannot really tell that if it's the black spot right below the headphone jack, or if the USB Type-C port will be on the back where it used to be on the PS4 controller. The speaker is in the exact same place as on the PS4 controller, and so are the options and their share buttons that also have the same orientation as before. So really, aside from the shape, the USB Type-C port, and the screen, the only thing that stands out to me is the weird hole below the PlayStation button. When Mark Cerny had his October interview with Peter Rumin from The Wired, Mark did actually hand Peter an actual PS5 controller. Now, he wasn't really allowed to share any photos or videos of it, but this is what Peter had to say. Cerny hands me a prototype of the next-gen controller, an unlabeled matte black doohickey that looks an awful lot like the DualShock 4 from the PS4. After all, there's a little hole in it, and a recently published patent points to Sony developing a voice-driven AI assistant for the PlayStation. By the way, this is the patent that Peter was referring to, and yeah, from the sounds of it, the one that we've seen in the patent sounds exactly like the controller that Peter was given by Cerny. And that mysterious hole would then indeed be used for the microphone, which would then be used for Sony's brand new AI assistant. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts on everything that I covered in this video. PS5, controller, AI assistant. Yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts. And definitely subscribe notifications if you want to see more updates on the PS5 and more Leaks Rumors episodes like this one was, and more in-depth tech videos like this one hopefully was. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give us a like if you enjoyed, let me know. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.